Hello, 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 everyone. It's Dr. Tamara Beckford, and welcome to the Dr. Tamara Beckford Show. Alrighty, I am here to help all our breastfeeding moms who might be suffering from postnatal depletion syndrome. You're probably like, what? Wait, I've never heard of it. I know, but it happened. And we have an expert here today who's going to tell us all about it because postnatal depletion and nutritional tips for supporting you moms is what she is all about. Alrighty, let me introduce her so that we can get started for all our moms out there who are holding our babies. I know a few wonderful doc moms too that's out there. I'm going to give a shout out to one of my favorite doc moms that's out there that recently had her baby, Dr. Sarah Ionescu. Hello, hello, hello to you. Alrighty, so our wonderful doc today, she's a graduate of Lincoln Memorial University in Tennessee. And she did her residency in family medicine at Stony Brook University, Southampton. So that's all my New York. She's out there in the on. All my New Yorkers, hello. Now, she is also the founder of Latched Nourished Thriving, where she combines her extensive history in and background in anatomy, osteopathy, integrative medicine, and functional nutrition. She does that in order to empower mothers to thrive during their postpartum period. In addition to that, Doc here is on a mission. So she is on a mission to provide holistic support for breastfeeding mothers and their families. Who am I talking about? The one and only Dr. Lauren Davis. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Davis. How are you?
I'm doing well today. How are you doing?
I am doing excellent. So, shout out to all our breastfeeding moms out there who are listening. Today, it's all about you and it's all about your nutrition and your support. Alrighty, so let's get into this wonderful conversation with Dr. Davis. Now, before we dive in for our mothers, let's dive in and find out a little bit about you. So, Dr. Davis, tell us, what made you decide to become a doctor in this place? Go ahead, tell us that story.
I came to be a physician because my mom actually had a lot of gut issues when I was growing up. So, unbeknownst to me, I grew up with celiac disease and I
Mm.
wasn't diagnosed until I was in medical school.
Oh,
And my
wow.
mom had a lot of complications from inflammatory bowel disease
Mm,
that went undiagnosed until she ended up with a colectomy when she was in
mm.
her early 40s.
Oh,
And she ended
wow.
up with short gut syndrome and all the consequences that come after that. But
Mm,
nutrition really became an interest for me
mhm.
because I was an athlete and softball player and I really loved nutrition. I really loved performance medicine. And when I was playing in college, I got treated by an osteopath and I had a rotator cuff tear in my shoulder.
Mhm.
I thought I was going to have surgery so that I could play again. 2 treatments, I was better, back on the field, no surgery. And
Okay.
I decided I needed to figure out how to do that.
OMG. Wow. From rotator cuff. Now we know so many people, even they try to bring this arm in there. Wow.
2 treatments.
It is amazing. Shout out to that doc. Do you remember that doc's name?
That doc has since passed, unfortunately, but was an
Yes.
amazing man.
I love it. I love it. Shout out to him, even though he has passed, because he's been able to pass on his legacy to you. You're able to continue playing this game that you loved and introduced to this wonderful world of medicine and osteopathy. Like, how amazing. Alrighty, sorry, but continue.
So that is how I got my interest in medicine. And
Mhm.
then really what called to me as I was training was family medicine. So
Mm.
I loved every aspect of medicine that I was going into and going through. And I couldn't
Were you
decide.
one of
So I
those that
became
loved
one of
every
those.
rotation?
I love every rotation. I love surgery. I love derm. I love PAP. I love everything. Oh, that's family medicine. Okay.
I love it. I love it. So now here's the thing. Like a lot of people aren't aware, like I said, that family medicine is definitely, I call family medicine the doctor's doctor. because like you are aware of everyone's specialty. You take care from the womb to the tomb,
Yeah.
like everything in between. That's where you are. All the different specialties, all the different, your care is really extended and the knowledge base is very broad. So I love that you're like, okay, I like that. I like that. I like that. Like, how can I incorporate everything I love all day, every day?
All day,
Okay.
every day, love it all. And then I found breastfeeding medicine when I had my first child. So that is what ended up calling to me the most out of everything that I have done.
Oh, wow. Alrighty. So take us along on this path because the path of medicine is one journey.
Yeah.
The path of motherhood, OMG, that's another journey within itself. Now, when did your journey in motherhood begin? Was it during a residency? Was it during medical school? Or was it afterwards?
It was during my residency. So I did a combination residency, one of the last of its kind, in family medicine and osteopathic neuromuscular medicine. So
Mm.
I was a third year resident, about to be chief resident for year 4. And we had our first child. His name is Oliver. And Oliver taught me a whole lot about
Mhm.
both being a doctor and a mother.
Oh, man. So explain to those who are listening when they heard, oh, I did a dual residency, osteopathy and family medicine. They're like, "Oh my gosh, that sounds so awesome, Dr. Davis," but they have no clue what it is. Explain to them what that means.
So the big difference between MDs and DOs is that
Mhm,
DOs learn a hands-on manipulation in
mhm,
addition to everything else they learn. When you want to specialize in the manipulation portion of it, we call that osteopathic neuromuscular medicine. And
mhm.
that's specializing in muscles, bones, ligaments, and how to use the hands-on techniques to put everything back in its place and back in alignment.
So for those who are listening and you're like, oh, that sounds interesting, like how can one use that? Think about the earlier part of Dr. Davis's conversation when she said she had that rotator cuff injury and her doctor was able to do that with 2 treatments. So she went ahead and learned all of that skills that was used on her during an additional training after her residency. And that's what she's talking about in the neuromuscular osteopathy training. So wonderful. Alrighty. So you're there during that, and out comes Oliver. Tell us all about
Out comes Oliver. So Oliver was our surprise baby. He is a Marina baby for everyone, but he was a big surprise for us. So unplanned, very loved.
it.
But in going through pregnancy, I think I was like a lot of pregnant moms. Oh, this will all go away once the baby's out. All of my, I feel so tired. I need extra sleep. Oh, once the baby's here, I'm going to feel like myself, chipper. All that energy is going to come flooding back in. All that delusional things that we tell ourselves until we're in it and we're like, oh, this is no better. This is completely different
Not
than I
only my life is
expected
but
it
now
to be.
sleep deprived.
Yes. On top of that, I haven't slept. I'm breastfeeding around the clock. I am still in charge of the program, going back at 4 weeks after having a baby, still right back into the flow of medicine. And being in that position and having to really dig down on how do I get my energy back as fast as I can?
Mm.
How do I support myself going through this? How do I still show up for my patients? And how do I show up for my family in a way that aligns with the person I want to be? Was a huge transformation for me. And
Mhm.
doing that, I think, in residency was even a little bit more hard because of the demand of the hours and everything else that we need to do.
Yes, absolutely. So what were some of the things that you were able to pull from that period that made you say, whoa, I realize that this is something that not only am I dealing with, but men are dealing or will deal with the same thing too.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I was finding the most was
Mhm,
that all of my symptoms that I had when I was exposed to gluten with my celiac
mhm.
came flooding back in the last trimester.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
So all of my symptoms were back. I
Mhm.
felt like I did when I hadn't prepared for competition in college, when I had gone out, when I hadn't planned my meals, planned my macros, gotten the nutrition on point. That's how I was feeling. And even though I was at the point where I was planning what I thought I needed,
Mhm.
what I learned is what I thought I needed, even as a physician, was much different than my body actually needed,
Mm.
according to the latest research that we have.
Oh, wow. Let's dig a little into that. For we're like, well, wait a minute. Not only am I doing what I think I need, this is what I and I've been doing this for so long because at that point you felt like an expert in what you were doing because
I
you're
felt like I
mentioning
should
from an
be.
athlete from college during medical school residency, like I should know all this by now.
Yeah.
It's still it was so different. So
Yeah.
tell us.
It wasn't until 2020 when Dr. Rasmussen and her team at Children's did
Mhm.
a study that looked at how much a mother is actually burning her protein while she is breastfeeding. And it turns out that what we think of baseline for
Mhm.
pregnancy and breastfeeding was 1.3 grams per kilogram. Turns out it's actually 1.9 grams
Mhm.
per kilogram of protein that
That
a
we're
mother
burning.
metabolically for her baseline. Let's not talk about adding
Oh,
on activity. Let's not talk about doing anything else but feeding that baby. We're at 1.9 grams per kilogram. I don't know anyone who would think that they need to prioritize protein to that extent
mhm.
to be a breastfeeding mom, to have their energy, to have all the building blocks they need to repair their bodies,
Mhm.
meet the increased metabolic demands. I don't know anyone who would think I'm eating like a bodybuilder on workout day would be the same as what they need just to get by every day as breastfeeding. So to me, it says all of those things that we contribute in motherhood to low energy, to muscle loss that's normal during breastfeeding. Maybe it's not normal. Maybe it's a side effect of not having enough protein.
And what's interesting is that you're saying that this is our baseline. So
Mhm.
this is literally I'm waking up, feeding, and going back to sleep.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten up and taken care of the additional kids. I haven't gone about trying to go grocery shopping and doing all these activities around the house.
Or
That
chase your toddler and all the
same
other
thing
things. Yeah.
while you're holding the baby. And wow, interesting. At baseline. So almost 2 grams.
Almost 2 grams.
And we thought it was closer to almost one.
We went back down after pregnancy, right?
Yes.
Pregnancy, we always have said was 1.5, breastfeeding is 1.3. Turns out we're wrong on that.
So now we are under nutrition. Or we're not trying to say we're malnourished, but we're like
We're depleted,
undernourished.
we're undernourished, and we're
Undernourished.
already undernourished when we look at the information from the Linus Pauling Institute. 97% of Americans don't get enough potassium in their diet. 96% don't get their required vitamin D.
Mhm.
94% don't get their required vitamin K or vitamin E. So we've got four big nutrients that
Mhm.
run our mitochondria that give us energy back
Yes.
that 90% of us aren't meeting. And now we add on these extra requirements in breastfeeding. If we're already in that 90% majority, chances are we're in that 100% range if we're not planning it.
Absolutely. And then we're wondering why we're tired.
And we're
And we're
wondering
saying
why
like,
we're tired.
I'm exhausted. Now we have an
Welcome to
additional
motherhood. To what we all hear.
that
Welcome to motherhood.
we should also now welcome to being undernourished. Let's work on this part and see if you can at least get a modicum of energy back or if you notice things. Now, one of your other thing that you mentioned that I think that's important for us to also highlight is that you said you were doing your third trimester, which is during the latter part of your
Mhm.
pregnancy. A lot of your symptoms that you had under control started to show back up. And because based on this conversation, it sounds like you're a disciplined person where you're
Yeah.
disciplined with your nutrition. So it's not that these symptoms of your celiac or your like abdominal or GI issues started to return because like, you just became lackadaisical. There's obviously changes that's going on within our bodies during a
Right.
lot of these times. And that's a plus the next step you deliver. And now you're doing what you are doing to feed. And then you're still now even more undernourished. Like, I cannot imagine your energy level might have been like almost non existent.
So, what I have now found out, now that we have the research a few years later,
Mm-hmm.
is that the way our breast microbiome develops is that we open up the space between the cells in our gut and we get movement of our gut microbiome through our lymphatic channels to our breast. It's called the enteromammary pathway. We're looking at it a lot for breast cancer research now. But for anyone with gut issues, opening the gut lining is also considered gut permeability. And that's a
Absolutely.
term that we use elsewhere, especially in functional medicine, that
Mhm.
people may hear the buzzword leaky gut syndrome.
Mhm.
That happens for every mother who is pregnant. So this cycle should be reversed when we are postpartum. But what interferes with leaky gut? NSAIDs. We get stress hormone increases, sleep and repair cycles. All of our postpartum experience prevents that from healing. And it turns out that now 50% of women put full size proteins into their breast milk because their gut is not breaking it down appropriately. And what we're seeing from that is cow's milk protein intolerance. We're seeing infant proctocolitis. We're seeing FPIEs because babies are being exposed at higher levels
Mhm.
to these full size food proteins that their guts aren't mature enough yet to break down.
Oh, wow. So it's happening through, instead of being able to break it down in the guts
Yep.
for us, where we
For
would
us,
naturally absorb
when we
it,
would naturally
it's
break it down in
going
the gut,
up and coming through the breast
it's
milk.
going up and coming through breast milk. And that's
Mhm.
a normal way for our breast microbiome to develop while
Mhm.
that blood breast barrier is open. But by 4 weeks postpartum, it should have reversed itself. And we're not seeing that happen. And that is what is causing this increased incidence of
Mhm.
milk protein intolerances and everything else that's going on with
Mhm.
eczema and babies.
Oh, man. So this is like fascinating information. And a lot of moms, I want to caution our moms out there who are listening to this, who might be in the phase where you are postpartum and guilt is something that becomes a high part of, unfortunately, our day. I don't want you taking this information and being and putting yourself into a guilt-ridden state if you have a baby with FPIEs or if you're having any milk intolerance. What we want is for you to use this information, and then the second half, Dr. Davis is now going to try to help us with some nutritional info for you to start to use that and impart this knowledge to see if you are able to improve some of the situations that you're in. So no guilt, no
No
guilt
guilt
allowed.
at all.
No guilt allowed.
I'm the poster child for having babies with proctocolitis, and then my second has an IgE mediated allergy. So no guilt at all. This
Mhm.
is how I've figured it all out because it was happening for me and my family.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us how you did it.
So the
Mhm.
first thing that I do for myself and everyone else that I work with is get them up to speed on protein.
Mhm.
Protein has to be planned essentially throughout your day. And I swap any snacks that women are having for high protein snacks.
Ooh.
So if we swap out things that we normally reach for that are quick and easy while we're breastfeeding, right? The easy bars, the lactation cookies. If we change that out for a high protein snack, a hard boiled egg, a piece of beef jerky, something that's going to help us meet our goals for our protein for the day,
Mhm.
we make huge headway when we do that. And we
Mhm.
get up to that number much faster.
Mhm.
The second thing that I have women do is I make sure that we're meeting our micronutrient needs. So, our vitamins and minerals across the board, especially vitamin D, getting that supplementation in because we know if we give mom 6,400 units, that baby gets enough from breast milk. So, that means that if you're deficient, baby's not getting enough, but
Mhm.
it also means that your body is deficient and it's not getting the hormones it needs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, two things so far. One, we're increasing our protein in order to meet the daily requirements because we just found out that it's way lower, that we're way lower than we thought at baseline prior to breastfeeding. And the requirements that we had in mind is lower than what is actually needed. Quick way that Dr. Davis has just mentioned is just switching out your snacks because we know that something that you can reach for very quickly. And a lot of things, I love that we're talking about breastfeeding and you're like, hey, let's switch out some of those breastfeeding cookies that are quick that we think about for something that's higher in protein that will help in the long run. Alrighty. And then the next statement that you mentioned, in addition to switching out the protein, was tell us that
Was
second
making sure we're meeting all of our micros. So we need to
micronutrients.
replenish iron, vitamin
Mhm.
D, and zinc are the three
And
main ones for healing after we have baby.
iron, vitamin D, and zinc. Wow. The micronutrients are something that's so overlooked nowadays. Everyone here macro, but the micros help to build so the macros can work. All right,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So it's like having construction workers on a site. We can have
Mhm,
all the macros, right? All the building tools that we need. If we don't have the plumber show up, everything stops. So that's what it's like if
mhm,
we don't have our iron, right? Iron carries oxygen around the body, it gives us energy.
mhm,
We bleed a lot after we have baby if we don't have what we need. Work in our body is at a halt, even if we're giving it all the nutrition we think it needs.
absolutely, absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful. So, two great things so far. Anything else that we want to help our ladies because we're not dealing with guilt? And so, Dr. Davis is letting you know I am the poster child for this. And this is what I was able to do in order to offset some of what happened with me and during this postpartum period with my lovely babies. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the last one is to move our limbs. So we get static, we get seated, we huddle down with the baby. And what happens is we don't move our lymphatic tissue, our lymph around our body. Lymph
Yeah.
helps move the micronutrients. Lymph also
Mhm,
clears everything that we need to replenish within the body. So just gentle exercises to help move the
mhm,
lymph. Walking is the easiest. When we squeeze the
mhm,
muscles, we move the diaphragm, we pump our lymph. And that's
mhm,
extremely important. Even if you're seated, just doing calf raises and moving your calves back and forth help
mhm.
move that lymph throughout your body.
Important. So, lymphatic movement exercises. Now, a lot of people hear this, and I will say the first thing they're thinking is, oh my gosh, that means that I have to leave the house to go to a lymphatic specialist or
No.
a lymphatic movement area, a massage here, a massage there. Oh my gosh, Dr. Davis, you just don't understand. I am wiped out. But I love what you said, just literally just walking around.
Walking around, getting up,
Mm,
pat the
mm,
baby, wear the baby, let them sleep on you, and move your body around. It's going to do a whole lot more good than
mhm,
spending the new trend is 5 days in the bed, 5 days near the bed. And while that's great for healing, it doesn't move the lymph. So we do
mm.
need to be up and moving around a little bit, especially in that immediate postpartum period.
How would we say with that movement? Because the next thing they're going to be like, for the lunch, that was how long should I be moving for? That is- What's a minimal amount that can get this done?
2 to 3 minutes.
5 minutes just walking around?
Yep. 2 to 3 minutes.
Yes.
2 to 3 minutes of deep breathing exercises, 2 to 3 minutes of moving around moves the lymph through our body approximately 1 time. So if we exercise, if we do aerobic activity, we
Mhm.
increase the amount our lymph is pumping by about 15 to 20%. 15 to 20 cycles it'll go through instead of one when we're seated. So any activity, any movement increases the lymph movement. And lymph is responsible for clearing away all of that gunk and debris that our body has made in the repair process. And that's what we need to get rid of so that we can feel better.
Oh, 2 to 3 minutes. I love
Just
that you
2 to 3 minutes.
mentioned also walking around or even a deep breathing exercise
Yep.
moves the diaphragm and gets that going and getting things around. Sitting down, moving your calves up and down, calf
So it
raises.
doesn't have
Uh-oh.
to be hard. We just have to not be static in the same spot all day.
Love it. Love
And
it.
it's easy to do with a newborn.
Yes, yes. You said holding them, cradling them, still bonding while you are repairing yourself during this process and not thinking that you have to do a lot of exertion. Just even just using that time. If you're going to go up and you're getting up to go to the refrigerator to the kitchen to get something, having the baby moving, walking around, those 2 to 3 minutes of movement can do wonders. That's powerful to know. Now, this is like a lovely way that I love that you're supporting those in the postpartum period and just making them aware of just these small but powerful movements and mindset and understanding how the nutrition is an important part of their building block and also making them feel better. But then we also have the community that's around them. So, what are 3 things that for those who are supporting this new mom or this next mom, such as this is my be third, fourth, or fifth child. What are 3 things that you can say that the community can do to help to support the mom during this period?
First is really get permission for what you want to do, but don't put the mental load back on mom. So if you walk in and you see a sink full of dishes and you're visiting a new mom, say, I'm going to do the dishes for you. Is that okay? Not walk in and say, what do you need help with today? Because that builds mental load because now mom has to think of all the things that she might not feel guilty about asking you for to help her out. Just walk in if you're
Hmm.
visiting, pick one thing to do in the house that's going to make it better than when you arrived.
That's such a powerful thing. There's a lot of guilt. I think also for us as women in a lot of our traditional thinking mindset. Oh my gosh, you're coming over. I might not want you to come over because the place is a mess because I had no time, no energy to do anything.
Yep.
But when you do come over, just releasing some of that mental load without the stirring guilt or making it a big deal,
Yeah.
right? Just a part of the visit. We're talking and conversing, and I might even make you laugh because it's something that you had a hard night, and laughter is something that can really just help you during that period of time while I support you by doing the dishes.
Yeah.
That's powerful. I love it. I love what you said. Also, get the permission without bringing it back on to the mother.
We add to mental load when we ask someone else to make the list for us. We can walk in and we can observe something and we can say, hey, it looks like you haven't gotten to the dishes. It looks like you might need a refill on snacks. Would you like me to put a basket together and bring it over for you? Can I refill your water bottle? Can I do something simple for you right now? But I'm naming the thing that I want to do, right? I'm not asking you to think of it for me. I'm naming it. I'm stating what I'm offering as help. And then I'm just simply getting your
Mhm.
yes as the response to that. and then go do it.
And then go do it. I love it. So much. And the part that's so important that for those of us, and I'm putting this on me because my mindset is I want to help, but phrasing it the correct way is something that can be challenging. So, hey, what is it that you need me to do? You are trying to convey the same thing as I see that you need help with this. I'm just going to do this while we're there. It's
Yeah.
the same thing because I came in and I saw
The
the
same
same thing.
thing. You saw it, right? But you're not asking me now as a new mom who might feel guilty about not getting to the dishes, right? I'm saying, hey, I couldn't do it either when I was 3 weeks postpartum. I'm going to go do your dishes. We can chat. Do you want me to make you a cup of tea while I do it? Do you want coffee? Do you need a nap for
Mhm,
15 or 20 minutes while I hold the baby for you? We don't,
mm,
we see what around us needs to be done and we take the
mhm.
initiative to do it.
To do it. Love it. Love it. Alrighty. What's another thing that those who are supporting this mom during this period can do that they might not have thought about? It's very helpful in that support journey.
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest things for new moms is getting to those pediatrician appointments, right? Pediatricians are there to both support mom
Mm-hmm.
and baby, right? They're checking in
Mm-hmm.
on baby. But because our system is not set up to support postpartum mothers, all of that support, all of that screening gets pushed onto their pediatrician. And there
Mm-hmm.
may be things that mom needs to ask the pediatrician where she may not want her older kids in the room. So if you know that mom is probably going to a visit this week, if you offer to watch the older kids while she takes the baby by herself, it can feel like a huge immense break, especially if those kids aren't in school yet.
Ah, simple yet powerful. You're right. A lot of us want to help. And here's the thing, too. I love the fact you said offer, because guess what that mother is less likely going to do? Call
I
you
was
and
gonna
say,
say,
hey,
yeah, hey,
can
can you
you come?
watch my kids while I go to this appointment? Or I have my 6 week postpartum visit coming up. That's a big time where birth control happens for a lot of women. They get an IUD placed at that
Mhm,
visit. Do you want your baby, your toddler in the room trying to watch them while you're getting a Mirena placed? No. Not, but
mhm,
I don't know many mothers who are going to be comfortable reaching out saying, hey, I need someone to watch my kid while I go do this appointment. It's hard to find the support if it's
mhm,
not already built in. And for a lot of women now, a lot of grandparents aren't available or are older and are having
mhm,
their own health issues, can't watch
mhm.
kids. It takes the
Absolutely.
friends and village part to fill in those gaps. And watching someone else's kids for an hour or two while mom goes and takes care of mom should be her right. But we've turned it now into a privilege.
Wow. Now I'm sitting and thinking, as someone who is on the other side, wow, there are many people that I just never thought about that. Very happy that you were able to, that you had the baby. And a lot of times I'm actually, because I'm an ER physician, those first 28 days, I don't even want to
Yep.
come see you. I will talk to you over the phone. I need those 28 days because I do not want that postpartum.
I'm not the reason for the baby LP, right? That's all
Not
involved
at
to the parents.
I say this, I don't think sometimes those who are not in healthcare understand. And it's really, like I said, I do not want to be the reason your baby has to get a septic workup.
Yeah.
And that's why I won't visit within the first 28 days. I'm actually one of those after 6 weeker. I'm like, whoa, now you have your own immune system. I can come see you. But I never thought about, as with most people, I'm still thinking about the baby. But the
But everything
mom,
that mom is going through,
during that
That is
period
now
of time.
unsupported during
Yes,
that period of time.
absolutely. Wow. So now the simply being able to be there for her to get a visit by herself with the newborn to talk about things that are personal and be able to have that connection with her doctor because she's not having to worry about all the toddler who might be running around, and so she might not be able to ask the questions that she had to get that support that she was at that she went in for because there's so much interruption that was going on. That's
Real story,
yeah.
real share here about my
Yeah.
6-week postpartum visit. I
Mhm.
had my IUD replaced at my 6-week postpartum visit. Thinking that I was postpartum, I thought it was going to be easy compared to the first one I had in. It was not. I had enough pain with that that I was sweating. I was almost vasovagaling. I had my 6-week-old in his car seat on the floor next to me. He was napping,
Mhm.
thankfully, but I had gotten him out and fed him before the appointment. And I hadn't put him completely strapped back in the car seat because the doctor came in while I was trying to do things. I just
Mhm.
put him down. I forgot about that. I carried my newborn out to the car, not buckled in, and drove 5 minutes home from my appointment without him buckled because I was so out of it for that
Mhm.
appointment that it didn't even dawn on me to double check his car seat. He was in the seat. I thought it was buckled. And I drove home from that appointment. All of
Mhm.
the mom guilt, everything came rolling in. Oh my gosh, what if we were in an accident? What happens? What ifs? Now
Mhm.
he was fine. He slept on the way home. He didn't move in the car seat. We lived close enough that I didn't even break 25 miles an hour on the way home from the appointment. But
Right.
even being in a residency program, my husband and I both, there was not a single offer that happened to watch the baby
Mhm.
while I went to that appointment.
Yes.
So for me, supporting mom is huge because we
Absolutely.
don't think about it as a culture. We think protect the baby, especially medicine. Don't visit until after 28 days. Don't visit until after a month.
Mhm. Mhm.
But what does mom need during that time? Can we at least bring groceries over and drop them off at the door?
Sure.
Can we arrange for them to send a gift card or a coupon for their favorite restaurant so that mom and dad can order their favorite food? What can we do to center around mom instead of solely protecting baby?
Absolutely. Because protection of mom is protection of baby
Yes.
during that time. I love that we're having this conversation, and it really is here to support and to highlight. It's putting a spotlight on how we think as a society and not to guilt us, but to really remove the veil for us to think broader and to be able to support those who are silently suffering during that time. Because guess what that mom has to do? Put on that smile because everyone's going to say, oh my gosh, you're such a great, the baby is so this. Aren't you so excited? Aren't you this for the baby, for the baby? But what about mom?
Remember, 1 in 5 moms are going to
Mhm.
develop postpartum anxiety or depression. And that can be for up to 4 years after delivery.
Okay, I didn't know that part.
Yep. Up to 4
4 years.
years after delivery, we can still develop postpartum depression.
Wow. The support is vital for
It is.
that family, which is an ecosystem at this point in time. I love it. Alrighty, let's give one more tip, and then I have my fun question that I want to ask you. So, for those who are supporting our new mothers during this period of time, we just gave two wonderful tips. One, just go ahead and help. And if there's something that you see that's needed when you are there at home, just go ahead and get permission to do it, but don't ask and put a mental load back on the mom. And then two, think about that 6-week visit. If you're able to support that mother during that period of time, that's a huge help. especially if she has other children. A great offer would be offering to watch the other children while she takes her either goes to her 6-week postpartum visit or even the visit with the pediatrician. So she can talk and uninterrupted and be able to communicate with her doctor as needed on vital information that she might need to receive and or to vital information that she might need to give to her doctor during that time. Love it. All right. What's the third tip for those who are supporting our new mothers?
The third tip I would say is wait for an offer to hold the baby.
Oh, there we
So
go.
don't ask for the baby. Yep. Don't ask to hold the baby because we don't
Mm-hmm.
want to pressure mom to do something she's not comfortable with, especially if you're a
Like
close
saying
friend
no.
and you have excitement on your face. She has to give you a no to hold that baby, right? That's hard on everyone setting the boundaries, especially as a first time mom.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for the offer to hold the baby and focus your visit on what mom needs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now that is a great advice, but that advice has caused a lot of turmoil within families. But it's also important to understand and to respect the mom
Every
during that
culture
period of
is
time.
different, but it's
Hmm.
up to mom what's her comfort, especially in that first month. We know that babies are the most vulnerable during that time. And if mom wants to come to an event and hold baby the whole time and doesn't want baby passed around, that's mom's right. We can't even question that. That is
Hmm.
her right to do. If she wants to be by herself and not be around other people for those first 28 days, that's also her. If she's comfortable having baby held, that's also her right. And when that's the case, most moms will offer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And being able to respect that during that period of time, it's important because that's also another form of support.
Yes.
That's another form of support. Love it. So these are wonderful. So for those who are just watching, we just got some wonderful tips, not only for the moms, but also for those who are supporting the mom. If you watched my show before, I'm going to take it to Dr. Davis and find out if you weren't a doctor or supporting moms during their breastfeeding phase, you weren't a nutritionist, you weren't an athlete, so not doing sports, you're not doing osteopathy. Okay, so I pulled out nutrition, I pulled out sports because you played softball. I pulled out you supporting moms and nutrition, anything around guts, pulling that out too.
All right.
What
Nothing around good
what
either.
okay. What would you be?
So I really wanted to be a horse trainer when I was a kid. That would have been, we lived next to a horse farm and I would go out and I would feed the horses carrots. And I thought when I grew up, I was going to be a horse trainer and I was going to have horses.
I love it. Okay, so you're my first horse trainer. I love it. This is my utopia. So we have a horse trainer here in our utopia. I love it. How was it interacting with the horses?
I loved it. If I were allowed to, as an osteopath, to do osteopathy on horses, I would totally be all over that.
Oh, I love it. Okay. So I have never, other than like at a fair or so, directly interacted with a horse. But that's something that I guess I have to put on my bucket list because I keep watching videos of horses, thinking that how sweet and how they have this nature that they can connect with you. All right, that's one of the things that I'll do. But I'll make sure I contact you so you can help me on that
All
journey.
right.
I love it. I love it. Alrighty. So now there are many people who are watching this wonderful conversation and they're wondering, Dr. Davis, you've given us some great info. Does this mean that you can help me? If so, how is it that you help us, mothers who are going through the postpartum period? Or, you know what? I am a family member of someone going through the postpartum period. I'd love to find out more about what you do. please let us know. And if you are taking patients or clients, let us know also.
Yes. So I am absolutely taking clients. I
Mhm.
have kind of an array of things for supporting new families. So the easiest, quickest to get is I have a book called Thrive Mama, the Ultimate Postpartum Blueprint that goes through all the nutrition changes, that goes through sleep, that goes through support for new parents. And that is a very quick, easy pickup, get to know a little bit more about me. But I also have courses on nutrition, personalized nutrition already done for you. It runs your numbers through an algorithm, gives you exactly what you need to be eating, and comes with 6 months of meal plans that are done for you. And then I also have a group program for new moms. So we meet twice a week. We go over mindset questions, we go over nutrition, we go up over anything that comes up in motherhood so that moms can feel supported, especially in those first 6 months postpartum.
Wonderful. Where can they find all of this information?
So it's all on our website at latchednourishedthriving.com.
Latched Nourished Thriving.com. I love it. Latch
Yep. Nourished.
and
And
we're all thriving.com. Alrighty, thank you so much. So, how with the courses that you do offer with your clients, is it on an ongoing basis? Is it for a particular period of time? Can I jump on now? This is during this conversation. We're at the end of the year, or do I have to wait until the new year? Please let me know.
you don't have to wait. It is ongoing. So we can jump in anytime and join in the membership program. The courses that are available, I have foundations of breastfeeding, I have nutrition, I have safe gut restoration during postpartum period. So all of the information is put in courses so that it's accessible. And then it's
Mhm.
on demand for new moms because I know that's one of the most important parts. But getting access to a group of women who are actively working on this to thrive together is also an option.
Love it. Love it. Love you. Thank you so much, Dr. Davis. This has been a wonderful conversation. Now, here is what happened. I do want to give a shout out to Dr. Una that came on and she was giving us, yay, Dr. Yes, thank you so much for providing information about not just the children, but also the mom. Alrighty. Now, here it is. There are so many people that jumped on at the end and they're like, I only got that last part of that conversation. It's so important. I need more. And I'm like, have no fear. This wonderful conversation is available on our Your Caring Docs website. Just go to urcaringdocs.com. Select podcast. You're going to see Dr. Davis's beautiful face. Download this episode and send it to 10 of your friends, especially those if you know they're in that phase that they're going to be delivering soon. They're women that need support or family members of women that need support because we had some wonderful information on today's episode. So have no fear. Now, if you are looking and you are a woman who is suffering from burnouts, I am here for you, right? So just come to my website, yourcaringdocs.com/thrive. I'm here to support you on this journey through burnout, the journey that pulls away your joy, that pulls away your excitement, and pulls away what it is that you have with the meaning within your life and especially your job. So we do have one-to-one coaching that's going on. If you would love, love, love to be part of that, I would love to have you. So go to yourcaringdocs.com/thrive. You'll find a way for you to book a free consult call with me, and then we'll see if I am the person for you to support you on this journey through burnout. Alrighty, Dr. Davis, thank you so much for supporting all our women out there who are in that postpartum period, helping them with their nutrition, helping those who are supporting them to understand what's going on and to be the best support they can during that time. Do you have any last minute words before we end this wonderful conversation?
I just want to thank you for all that you do in supporting burnout. So, it is one of the reasons why I am in private practice and not in academic medicine. And it is a wonderful thing you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. Alrighty, for those of you out there, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.